Hi everyone, so this session is going to be based around montage editing. It'll be part of a week, 30 resources on the blog, and it hopefully will help you gain some ideas for your short film and just increase your knowledge and comfortability around editing. Just a note on today's session, it's kind of a continuation from what you did based on the Kuleshov experiment during week 6's lesson. So if you can't remember that, or you want to refresh, or you didn't participate in it, then go back to week 6 lesson resources on the blog and have a look through that as well, and it will help you kind of follow on from that and contribute to this as well. Now in this session we're going to be talking about techniques that were raised by the Soviet montage theorists. So just to recap, the Soviet montage theory is a film movement that took place in Soviet Russia during the 1910s, 20s and into the early 30s. It was founded by Lev Kuleshov of the Kuleshov effect while he was teaching at the Moscow Film School. Now, one of the prime objectives of the Soviet montage theorists was to create an approach to understanding filmmaking that relies heavily upon editing. Now, one of the prominent contributors to the Soviet montage theories is director Sergei Eisenstein, and according to him, he argues that there are 5 different types of Soviet montage theory. So he argues there's metric, rhythmic, tonal, overtonal, and intellectual. And in this lesson today, we're just going to be looking at metric, rhythmic, tonal, and intellectual, because they are going to help you most for this next short film assignment that you're doing in term 3. The first type of montage we're going to look at is the metric montage. The metric montage aims to create an aesthetic appeal while simultaneously showing important events over a period of time. Now we can define metric montage by its use of the cut into the beat method, which you VS20 will have used in your music video montages, or most of you will, and its use of the non-diegetic music, which the characters can't hear. It's just played over the top of the scene. And we can also define metric montage by its lack of continuity between shot A and shot B, but an overall sense of progression throughout the sequence. So the character will be building up to something, but it's time jump, so it's not in a series of linear events. Finally, we can define metric montage by its constant movement or action throughout the shots in the sequence, as we'll see in this example of Rocky here. So throughout this clip we can see Rocky doing various methods of training, but as we can see in his change of clothes, they're not happening on the same day or even shortly after. They're all disjointed and non-linear. The filmmakers would use this technique to jump through time but show that the character is progressing towards a specific event, so it's very handy for that. Next up we've got the rhythmic montage, and a rhythmic montage focuses on setting a continuous relationship of pace between shots. So the shots within a sequence will be edited into an equal measurable duration and gain or reduce pace to slow down the sequence or speed it up. Now this can be a very handy method of montage for controlling the pace of a scene. And if you've got an action scene, then you can make it quick and pacey and the audience will be disjointed because of this. Or alternatively to that, you could have a really slow burning scene and that would work to keep the audience grounded and get them really into the scene, kind of ground their emotions on that. But the key thing you need to remember about a rhythmic montage is it is concerned with controlling the pace of a sequence. Let's watch this example from Whiplash. So the editing of the shots begins quite slowed. There's no rush to get from shot A to shot B. It's generally quite gradual in its pace. Then when we get to the beefy middle of the sequence, where the music starts to ramp up and the intensity of the scene starts to get a bit more frantic, the pace ramps up greatly and the editing is quick, meaning shots are short and snappy. And then as we reach the final stretch of the scene, the editing slows down again, bringing a gradual end to this tempo that we've picked up in the middle. And this is an example of rhythmic editing, as the editor has controlled the tempo of the scene using music and the intensity of the characters. The tonal montage method is concerned with drawing emotion between shots. Typically in the tonal montage, shot A will be of the character's facial expressions as they look at the subject in shot B, influencing the audience's emotional reaction to a sequence by means of direct reflection from the character on screen. This means that, differing from the metric montage and the rhythmic montage, the directors aren't cutting simply the clips based on the visual image or tempo of the music, but instead based on the emotions that can be drawn by placing shot 1 and shot 2 together. If we look at this example from Alien, the sequence is edited in a way which bounces the audience between shot A of Ellen Ripley's face and shot B of the xenomorph alien. The audience is shown Ripley's facial expression, which is of terror, and this brings a human response to the situation at hand, creating an emotional reaction in the audience. This level of emotion may not have been extracted at a level like this without the connection of shot A and shot B, and this is how the tonal montage works. The intellectual montage aims to create a subliminal meaning which otherwise would be unachievable from one shot alone. Where tonal and intellectual montage differ is that intellectual montage focuses more on creating a specific meaning from the coupling of shot A and shot B, or a juxtaposition between the two shots, rather than the tonal montage's attempt to draw an immediate emotional reaction between shot A and shot B. Now, this is where the classic Kuleshov effect that you looked at in week 6 comes in. So Lev Kuleshov created the theory which argued that meaning of shot A could be interchangeable dependent on the subject in shot B. For example, using the classic Kuleshov effect diagram, this could mean that an expressionless character in shot A could be edited together with a plate of food in shot B to create a combined meaning of hunger. But without the plate of food in shot B, the audience could not derive a meaning of hunger from just shot A on screen. This is in essence the objective of the intellectual montage method. Let's look at it as an example in a film. In The Godfather, the audience are shown 2 different sequences simultaneously during a scene. And the first one involves Michael Corleone in a church baptising his child and renouncing the devil. The second occurring sequence involves hitmen that Michael has sent committing acts of severe violence onto people. And this intellectual montage example works to create a juxtaposition of good versus evil, holiness versus unholiness, of which would have been impossible for the audience to receive had it not been for their side-by-side editing. Now it's time for a task. What we're going to do is watch this clip from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and I want you guys to see if you can notice the missing ingredient from the clip.
Please. Avada Kedavra.
Did you notice it? There's no Harry. Originally, Harry witnesses the events of this sequence from beneath the floor. This inclusion makes the scene an example of tonal montage, as a shot of Harry combined with Dumbledore creates a layer of emotion as the audience know of their strong relationship. Your task is to re-edit Harry into the clip appropriately in order to make this clip read as an example of tonal montage. As an additional task for you, there are a few clips from the same film which, when edited side by side to Dumbledore's death, will create an example of intellectual montage editing. See if you can edit these clips appropriately into the sequence to create that juxtaposition of meaning that can be formed through editing in an intellectual manner. If you manage this, make sure you put your work on your blog with a little summary of the meanings that you were trying to convey during this intellectual montage edit that you made. The clips will be on the blog under week 30, and when you're finished, export your project as a H264 and stick it on your blog. I really look forward to seeing what you do, and I hope you enjoy the task.